개발자 TV.
So again, before we get too far deep into building, I wanted to provide some definition real quick to a very common term that you'll hear a lot in Adalo, and that is magic text. Now, magic text relates to the database in a very specific way. So let's say that in the visual aspect of our app, in any of these screens here, that we want to display a specific piece of information from our database on that screen. For example, let's say that I wanted to add a text element to this home screen here, and I want this text element to display the email of the logged in user. Well, this is actually very easy to do with magic text, and you can always tell where magic text is available for you to use on these visual components by going over here to the left sidebar anytime a component is selected and looking for either this magic T button here, or if it's a number in some way, it will be like a little X right here to show that it's a number that's available or a formula, right? And within magic text, we have a lot of different options here. And these menus, these little flyouts can be a little bit confusing if you don't know what you're looking at. But we're just going to look very briefly here at the logged in user since we just created a user in our database. We're going to look at the logged in user's email. And you'll notice that these options here are the exact same properties that we set up in our database, in our users collection. And if I go down here to the bottom, you'll notice that these here are actually the relationships that we set up in our users collection, right? We set up relationships between the users and messages, between users and posts, and between users and comments, right? And because we labeled those relationships correctly, we can see it tells us what that relationship is, right? So I'm looking at the logged in users messages where they are the author of that message, right? Or where they are the creator of that post. And in this way, we can use magic text to actually display, in this case, the user's email. I can just click email here, and you'll notice that it plugs in this nice little red block here that I can use to display the user's email. And of course, I can add text around this as well if I want that text to always say something specific. So if I always want it to say, email equals, and then whatever the user's email is, you can think of this like a variable, right? This is going to change based on who is logged in. There's also this little pencil icon here, and although there's not any options for the user's email, sometimes you can click on this little pencil and it will actually give you some options for formatting this value, right? So if it's a number, for example, let's see if we've got a number in here, a date is a good example as well. If we choose date here and we click on the pencil, we get an option for how to format that date, right? So I can do relative, just a regular date, just the day of the week, no formatting, all that good stuff there, right? And the same thing goes for date and time and numbers. And you'll notice that there's also a very handy option in magic text in addition to all of our other collections here, right? Users, messages, all that other good stuff. I've got options for date and time if I need to just pull a date and time out of thin air, right? Like 1 day ago, 3 hours from now, all that good stuff. But then I can also create formulas with magic text as well. And we may get into this a little bit more, but you'll notice that I've got another pencil icon here, and I can jump in here and create, addition, subtraction. I can add, count records, all sorts of different stuff that I won't get into right now. But just know that magic text allows you to pull dynamic pieces of information, right? Information that may change. It allows you to pull specific pieces of information from the database, right? And so that is really the foundation for what we're going to be doing in the next couple of sections or several sections. And I just wanted that to be you to be aware of what MagicText is, how to find it, and just kind of some basics of how to use it. You can also find MagicText when we're creating actions, but we'll look at that in just a few moments.